Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Crisp and Promomash webinar. I am Aaron, your host, and we are excited to have you join us. It is now my great pleasure to turn the mic over to Promomash's CEO and co-founder, Yuval Selak. So please, Yuval, at this point, over to you.
Welcome, everyone. Today is a very special day for us here. I've personally been waiting 7 years for this announcement. Today, we're introducing an exclusive partnership between Crisp and Promomash. And we're going to show you something that you've never seen before in CPG, which will transform your business in ways that you've never imagined possible. So why did Crisp and Promomash get together? Well, because both companies at their core are all about helping brands achieve greater success with greater efficiency in different areas. We were like two critical pieces of the same puzzle that must be there to complete the picture. And if you hang in there with me for just a few minutes, I'll explain which pieces of which puzzle we complete. Together, Promomash and Crisp have built an integrated platform to help brands measure, manage, and improve all of their go-to-market activities. And this solves several vexing problems that have contributed to the failure of countless of thousands of brands over the years. Using multiple Excel spreadsheets and disjointed platforms that address single problems like field management or trade spend management or deduction management doesn't work well. And everyone knows it. And then there's the multiple data sources to compile. Excel is the worst possible way to do this, because it's so inefficient and fragile. Do you get a sense that, we're not Excel fans around here? We're going to show you the best way to get your arms around trade spending and activities and the tools and data that make it really easy to do. So the basic strategy is that you need to have a plan. What's a plan? It's revenue and expenses. And then once you have a plan in place, then you need to find out how you did to that plan. Those are actuals, also revenue and expenses. And then when you've got that, you need to feed back whatever wisdom you've gained to make a better plan next time. And the place we do that at Promomash is our trade promotional planning platform. We already have that in place. So then we need to start adding actuals. How do we do that? So on the expense side, we have our deduction management platform and services that detail actual trade and non-compliant spend. And if you have any field activities such as demos or merchandising events, those incur an expense as well. And that's our field management platform. But that leaves a big hole. Where is that hole? Sales. Where are we going to get that? Well, you can go to Spins or IRI or Nielsen's, right? Log into the portals, download the reports, then normalize the data, and then find a way to upload that corrected data into the corresponding promotions and match it up with deductions, right? No. Who wants to do that, right? Well, the moment that you have all been waiting for, we now have a seamless, real-time, daily integration between our two platforms where you can get all of your customers' real-time sales data in real time, not months away, and with virtually no effort. So let's imagine you're you, and you have a question about your business. Let's see how you would answer those questions using the Crisp and Promomash platforms. So now I'll pass the mic over to Samantha and Tony to introduce Crisp and provide a high-level walkthrough of the Crisp platform. Samantha, Tony, take it away.
Thanks, Yuval. I'm Samantha, VP of Sales here at Crisp. A little bit about us. Crisp was founded with a mission to enable change through collaboration and data sharing in the CPG industry. The problem we saw was slow-moving, siloed data was keeping the supply chain and businesses from operating as efficiently as they could. So we believe our foundational mission to reduce food waste can be done with more data transparency, which also helps brands be successful in retail. With over 40 retail data integrations, we equip brands with real-time access to all their retail and distributor data sources in one single source of truth. The Crisp platform truly unlocks actionable insights within a matter of seconds and minutes, not hours and days, resulting in faster, more data-driven decisions and a deeper understanding of your business. So I'd like to take the opportunity now to introduce Tony Miller, Director of Sales Engineering at Crisp, to highlight a few of our dashboards.
Thanks, Samantha. I'm Tony Miller, Director of Sales Engineering here at Crisp. We're going to dive into the dashboards and the platform in just a second, but I want to give you a quick background on myself first. So I actually came from category management on the brand side before I got to Crisp. So I've spent a lot of time in these different data portals, spent a lot of time putting together stories with data. I've lived that Monday morning of scrambling to put reporting together. And that's actually what drew me to Crisp, is being able to make people's lives easier and understand and access data a lot better. Before I was doing that, I was actually at Target and some other retailers. So I've pretty much lived in these data sets my entire career. So I'm excited to show you what we can offer of how we can make this data easier and more actionable. So the first dashboard I want to start off in is our year-over-year sales dashboard, specifically within Unify. The thing you'll notice as we dive into each one of these dashboards is they follow the same flow, the look, the feel, the layout. So once you're a master of one, you're a master of all Crisp dashboards. So this overview section we have at the top is really meant to be just that, your overview, your 30,000 foot view of what's happening within your business, in this case, within Unify. So I can see high level, how's my performance versus the prior year? I can see it by each week as we're going through. I can see it broken down by cases shipped, by year-over-year sales dollars, and I can see it by each one of my products as well. How are they performing versus the same time period a year ago? As we go below that, we'll have our driver section. This driver section is always going to be accompanied by a heat map to help me understand regionality, sales density. Is there anything jumping out at me of areas I really want to focus on? We have the next layer that you want to filter and drill into as well. So in this case, within Unify, it's going to be your sales chains. What's happening across Stop and Shop, Hannaford, Wakefern, and Wegmans. I can also see these things broken down by the channels that Unify recognizes and the DCs that Unify ships out of. Below that, we'll always have our detail section where I can see things at that lowest level of detail possible, which is generally going to be store level, item level, in this case, sales and shipment information from Unify to those retailers. This is the report I would go to on a Monday morning to understand that performance of where I want to spend my time. Are there any items that are jumping out at me? It looks like they're all growing, which is the great thing to see. And I can see when I get down to my chain information, there's a particular chain that jumps out at me right away that's not growing quite as fast as everything else. Let's click on Wakefern and understand what's happening there. Is there anything that's causing this growth to be slow that I want to really focus on and dive into and look at? Or one click, now I have everything filtered based on Wakefern. I can come up here and look at it by item. I can see it is my 16-ounce original that I have here. And then it's also this coffee SKU, which also happens to be the 16-ounce coffee SKU. Those two are declining. So I can click on those two. Now I have all of my information filtered based on that. So I can come up here and see, when do these declines start? Where are we seeing that happening? Is there anything we're worried about? Looks like it was mostly a little bit earlier in the year that we saw those things happening. Is there anything I want to dive into looking at this by DC? They're all coming out of the same DC. So there's no, information to dive into further there. But now I can look at this as we're going by product, store, combination. Maybe I want to see those that are, declining the fastest. I can give it a couple clicks, and now it's going to update and sort based on that. So now I can quickly put together, here's my store list of the store item combinations that had products shipped there a year ago and have no products now. Any of these data tables that you see can be exported out of our platform. So I can hit those three dots, hit download data, and now I have it in an Excel file to, maybe I want to share this with the buyer to say, hey, next time we meet, let's take a look at why these stores are no longer ordering these products from Unify. When I'm done with this particular fire drill that I'm working on putting out, I hit that X, my filters are gone, and now I can decide to dive into something else. Maybe I want to start down here in the DC level information and drill into what DCs are growing the fastest. So it's really easy to dive in and dive out of my different problems and things I want to sort and filter by. Talking about DC information, let's actually jump into inventory dashboard for KeHE. So as I go over here, I can navigate to our different dashboards that we have, select inventory within KeHE, and now I'm going to be able to look at where am I sitting for my products within KeHE's DCs. Again, follows the same flow as our last dashboard. We have an overview section at the top to understand how much product do we have on hand within KeHE. What do we have by DC? What are those totals? What is my current inventory situation by each one of my products? My dollars on hand, my quantity on hand, my weeks of supply, as well as knowing where the quantity on PO, what's scheduled to go into those KeHE DCs, and what's on a sales order, what's scheduled to go out of those DCs to the stores. One click and I can see which have the most weeks of supply. Where do I have the largest orders coming? Is there anything I'm concerned about? I can come down here and look at it by DC in our driver section. Which DCs have the most? Which DCs have the most product going into them, to look at that and understand that, to say we only have 2.8 weeks of supply and we have 35,000 units coming in. I feel okay about that because we know it's a little light. Where we have down here that 6.4 weeks of supply, maybe I want to push some of these POs out, as well as looking what do we have coming in sales orders. Do we have that product on hand to support that? KeHE also gives access to code date information. So I can track what do I have coming through that may be close to expiration. Is there anything I want to do with this 4-pack of keto coffee to say, what can we do to get them to sell faster? Do we work on a promotion quickly to get these products out of the KeHE DC so we don't hit that code date? Do we work with a wholesaler to handle the short-dated product? I can also see it the inventory at risk. So this inventory at risk report lets me see what do I have on hand when our sell-by date hits. I personally like to see what do I have the most at risk. So 11,000 units, 11,000 units on hand where we have a sell-by date, so under a year out, but it's in the future. I'm not particularly worried about today, but it's really easy to keep an eye on that. And then down here in the details section, DC product level information of what do I have on hand, what do I have from weeks of supply, what's scheduled to come in and what's scheduled to come out. Again, I want to see where I have the most and what I'm concerned about, or maybe where I have no weeks of supply because nothing is sold from this DC recently. These are the areas where I want to then take action because I have some concern. Going from here, now we're going to go out of the different distributors and into a retailer point of sale dashboard that we've created for Whole Foods. Jump over to my Whole Foods velocity dashboard. So now I'm looking at what's actually selling through the register. What's sold through the Whole Foods register? What are we looking at from velocity? That units per store per week overtime metric that is so important whenever we're talking to a particular retailer. So now I'm going to look at this. There's a little bit more detail section up here in the overview. It's going to break everything down by item so I can understand, are these items all spiking the velocities at similar times as we're running promotions? Is there seasonality that maybe we didn't know about when we're looking at these velocities over time that we can look at and pinpoint? But I like to really use this as we're maybe launching a new product and we know this product's going to perform similar to a product that we already have within Whole Foods. So for this example, we are launching a new larger 32-ounce size watermelon SKU. So we know this SKU will perform similarly to our 16-ounce of that same flavor. So I want to put together this store list of what stores can I recommend this product to for Whole Foods. Buyer already knows this 32-ounce product is coming, but they want to know what stores it should be sold in. We know within Whole Foods, they really like to focus on let's roll things out by region. But I can also see, are there any states where we have the strongest velocities of this SKU that's going to perform similarly? So now I can go and say, well, let's just focus on the Northeast and North Atlantic because those are the areas where we have the strongest velocities so far. I hold down control, select those two items, and now I have my curated list of stores that I can recommend to the buyer, saying based on these two regions, here are the stores that we think will have the highest velocity for this new 32-ounce SKU that we want to recommend. Again, hit these three dots, hit download data, and now I have my velocity information ready to send over to that buyer to have that conversation of here are the stores we belong in for this new SKU. Going that extra level of work to help make sure we're in the right stores, make sure that our launch of this new product is successful. So I'm going to pass it back over to Yuval now, and you can see how we take some of this point of sale and distributor data and power of the new Promomash system to really help you with your promotions and the kind of planning. Take it away, Yuval.
Thanks, Tony and Samantha. That was awesome. I hope that everyone can see the power of having a single source of data from multiple sources, all conveniently gathered and presented without any effort on your part. Before I take that to the next level, though, I wanted to introduce you to a couple. Do you see the innocent smiles in this photo? This is my wife, Ala, and I back in 2008 when Whole Foods Arroyo in Pasadena offered us a huge end cap display with our brand Luvala. Life was incredible. We were in the middle of our massive national growth spurt, but little did we know that a few years later, we'd be discontinued from all our retail customers because we didn't have the tools to manage our trade spend. And this is why I created Promomash and why I'm so excited to show you what the Promomash trade platform can do. Because I really do believe that if I had this tool alongside Crisp data back in 2008, our brand would have not only survived, but thrived. So Tony showed you how to analyze your sales, inventory, and velocity in real time. And now let's see if we can make that data even more spicy by bringing it into Promomash. So here's the Promomash platform. Right here, we have your promotional plan that your sales team uploaded, as well as the promotional calendar. Now, there's a lot of detail in each one of these promotions, but we'll save that for another time. What I really want to cover is I want to cover a few questions that I would ask myself as a brand founder or brand team member in the sales on the sales team. So what kind of questions am I going to ask myself? Okay, let's start with, where am I getting the most revenue and net margin? And how aggressively am I having to promote it, right? And for that, I will navigate to my territorial analysis dashboard. On the left side, for the map, I'm going to choose net profit. And on the right side, I'm going to choose promo aggressiveness, okay? Now, what am I looking for here? I'm looking at net profitability or gross revenue. Now, for Mid-Atlantic region at Whole Foods, I'm seeing that I'm crushing it. And yet, I'm even doing better because I'm giving away some of the lowest margin for my products. And other regions, I could take a look and say, wait a second, we need to do something here because my gross revenue is really low, my net profitability is really low, but I'm giving away a ton of margin to promote, okay? Now, this might be a holistic picture of your entire product line, but wait a second. You can start looking at individual products and seeing how they do, okay? How easy is that? With real-time Crisp data and the ability to select from planned promotions and the actuals that support those promotions, I'm able to now look and dig deeper into the variables that make things happen here. If I want to look at a specific promotion and how that's doing, or maybe I'm looking at a distributor that feeds in to my retailer, right? So you might have 2 or 3 distributors that lead into Whole Foods. Okay. Now, let's go to the next question. I hope you can see that this is a really powerful dashboard for you. But here's another question for everyone. The question is, I need to prepare for a quarterly business review, or maybe our investors want to know something right now about our customers. Things like, how much am I spending on allowances, or trade percentage by time period, maybe by product, by promotion, distributor, and tactic, right? So what do? Well, I can go to my customer P&L dashboard, and I can see everything. I can see the revenue, the costs, especially the allowances. And because we're doing deductions on behalf of our clients, we can show you non-compliance spend as well, the actuals. So taking Crisp data and deduction data gives you the full picture of your entire P&L for your customer, including your trade percentage by quarter. So then you can manage it across the year. Now you want to see something even better? What about by distributor? Having a P&L by distributor and customer is incredible and something that most brands just don't have the power to do. And again, you can filter it by product or by promotion or by time period. It gives you powers that you've never had before, right? How beautiful is that prior to an investment call with your investors, right? So what is the next question that I'm looking at? The next question is, what are my promotions doing to my bottom line, right? And that could be found in our performance history and trend dashboard. Okay. If I look at this trend chart, I'm looking at gross revenue that starts, this is an 18-month chart. I'm looking at gross revenue that starts at around $8,000. And at the end of 18 months, I'm trending a weekly average at around $9,000. Okay, so I made about 10 to 12%. But look at my net margin. Okay, my net margin or my net profitability starts off at 4,000, and at the end of 18 months, on average, it's around 1,500. So what does that mean? It means that I lost 60 to 70% of my margin to make an extra 10 to 12% in revenues. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? How about this question? How does my promo plan actualize in reality? And that, one of my favorite graphs, and that is called our forecast accuracy dashboard. What does this tell you? Okay. This, by the way, easily tells you that as a brand, I am completely under projecting lift in a big way every single time we're promoting. So here you can see the lower line, the bottom line, most line is the daily sales, right? And during promos, we now have 3 lines. Why do we have 3 lines? Because the daily non-promoted sales will be created here based on the previous 6 weeks of average data. So we know what that looks like. And then the orange line is what we planned on Promomash before we got the actual numbers. So we thought we're going to have a certain lift, right? But look what happened when Crisp data comes in and we have actual numbers. We're seeing that the lift is way larger than we expected. Okay. So what does that do? Well, if you underproject your lift, it's going to screw up your trade rate percentage. And it's going to underestimate your projected spend. And forget about causing all kinds of chaos, right, due to insufficient inventory projections. So your operations people are not going to be buying you Christmas presents this year. I promise you, right? And the cherry on top, look at your base. Your base is trending downwards over the 18 months, right? So you're promoting and you're spending a whole bunch of money. And in the previous chart, we saw that we're spending more to make more. And now we're not even increasing our base. You don't have to be a data scientist to know that that's not good, okay? And there's so many more insights and details that I can't show you right now. And I hope that you'll spend some time with me in the future diving in to all of the gold nuggets that not only Crisp has, but we do as well. So I hope you can start seeing how powerful these dashboards will be, okay, for your brand. And that wraps up the demo. Let's get back to the slides. Nick Prastos, the head of sales for Brad's Plant-Based, is one of the sharpest CPG guys that I've ever met. And I'm so excited to share his quote with you. You know, it really demonstrates the value of the partnership. On behalf of everyone at Crisp and Promomash, thank you for spending some time with us and learning about our partnership. I believe you can see now why I stated that this new development in the CPG space will change the trajectory of your company. So we'd like to make you an offer. For current Crisp clients, you will get a $500 a month discount on all Promomash 360 plans. And for new Promomash clients, you will actually get a free Crisp subscription as well. I hope that you enjoy this offer. It's really, really incredible. And this is a direct result of our partnership. So book some time with us, and you can go to do so www.go.promomash.com/crisp. Everything you need to know will be on that landing page. You know, this is going to be really, really big. So I hope you stay tuned to all the announcements that are coming your way over the next few months. If you want to stay in touch, look us up on LinkedIn, stay connected. But we'd love to hear from you.
All right. And on that note, thank you so much, Yuval and team. We've just wrapped up the content part of this webinar. Lastly, Yuval, Sam, Tony, thank you each for this really exciting news and sharing these demos and information. To all of you who are watching, you could have been many places this past half hour or so. Thank you for choosing to spend your time here with us. With that, this concludes our webinar. Have a great day, everyone. And with that, we are done.